After the checkered history of voter suppression, gerrymandering, a sitting president railing against people voting from the comfort of their home, a postal service that did everything it can to lose people's faith, you could be easily forgive anyone who said it's not worth it, man, and sat out of the election instead of voting. Not only did 160 million people vote in this election, making Biden the president who received the most votes in the country's history, a record 108 million people voted before the election day. In terms of percentages, 7 out of 10 voters had already delivered their verdict before November 3rd. They gave a big finger to anyone and everyone who fancied their chances to keep them home. And the party that won the presidency hardly knocked on any doors, leaving out the most important tool in a campaign's arsenal. Now, we were wrong to think that people may not vote as much as they did this year, and we will be wrong again if we think the other side will learn that the turnout genie is out of the box and it cannot be contained anymore. The GOP has filed 5 lawsuits so far in Georgia, all aimed in some form to exclude voters from voting in the Senate runoffs or in terms of how the mail in ballots are being processed. And they have lost all 5 cases. I will quickly summarize the 5 cases. You people can decide what the GOP and its allies were trying to do. Case number 5, Linwood. He is a MAGA favorite attorney who asked Republicans to not vote in the runoffs. He filed a suit against Georgia Secretary of State challenging signature verification procedures, the early processing of mail ballots, and the use of electronic voting machines for the Georgia runoff elections. Status of the case: dismissed. Case number 4, lawsuit filed by a group which includes Georgia Republican Party, NRSC, the Purdue and Loeffler campaigns, and 3 voters. So, what did they ask? They wanted to stop people who moved to the state after voting for the Senate election in the 2020. And they also wanted to segregate all ballots cast by voters registering to vote between November 4th and December 7th, 2020. Case dismissed. Then there were 3 more cases, one filed by Georgia GOP, one filed by the 12th Congressional Republican Committee, and there was one more case which I'm still trying to locate, but all of them had the same target: absentee voting. One suit challenged the processing of absentee ballots cast in the Senate runoffs, another one challenged the early processing of absentee ballots, use of unattended drop boxes, and signature verification process. So there you go. If you had thought the high turnout would have changed the way GOP approached elections, then please don't be. The GOP has filed 5 cases against its own administration in the state. The GOP has full control of the state. It controls the legislature, the secretary of the state is from the GOP, and the governor is from the GOP. But despite all of that, they have tried at least 5 times to either trim the voter rolls or change the way mail-in ballots were cast, processed, and counted. One can only imagine how much the GOP would have done if the governor had been a Democrat. But let me tell you a secret. The GOP is fearful that the turnout will go higher once again in the Senate runoffs as it happened in the presidential election. And there is a good chance that they will lose the election if the turnout gets closer to 5 million votes or if it goes past 5 million. In the presidential election, nearly a million people voted on the election day. So far, 2.1 million people have already voted early votes in the runoffs, and the current rate of early voting is very good for the state to get closer to the 5 million vote level that was achieved in the November 3rd election. So, why does the Georgia GOP fear higher turnout? This one simple chart will tell you what's going on. When you look at the racial distribution in Georgia, 58% are white voters and 32% are African American voters, and the balance is occupied by other races. But after all the votes are in, and when you looked at the share of votes, as you can see from this chart, 63% were white votes and only 29% were African American voters. White voters had a better turnout compared to African Americans. White voters may not have hit the ceiling in Georgia, but they are very, very close. The GOP knows this, that they have maxed out the base. There aren't enough hands to tilt the election in their favor if other races keep turning out to vote, which is exactly what happened in the presidential election. Despite getting more white voters to the polling booth in 2020 compared to 2016, that increase wasn't enough because more people of color decided to participate in the election. What complicates matters even further for the GOP is both the Democratic candidates captured somewhere between 20% to 30% of white voters in the state. Now marry that with African Americans who prefer Democrats with a 9 to 1 margin and Asian Americans who prefer Democrats with a 2 to 1 margin. I can summarize this in one sentence. If in Georgia black voters achieve 30% turnout and the Democrats maintain their white vote share as they did in the presidential election, they will win both the Senate seats. At 29% black turnout, they won by 10,000 plus votes. With a 30% turnout, they will win with a much bigger margin. The GOP knows white voters alone cannot get them to safety. They need to reduce the turnout with people of color. It's just simple math, and they are well aware of the math. In a game of margin, cutting out just 50,000 voters, access to the polling booth can be decisive. But the Democrats and the groups that are supporting the Democratic Party know what they are up against. The extra vigilance has certainly helped. And unlike the presidential election, where hardly any doors were knocked, this time a group called Black Votes Matter will be knocking on 2 million doors before the election and is also planning to call millions of voters by that time. That's just one group. And there are plenty of them in Georgia extremely active. The GOP is also active and working as hard as I have seen elsewhere in the country, but so do forces that are against the GOP. Neither side is ready to back off, and it will be over to the people to decide the fate of the Senate and the country. Thanks for watching. If you like it, please subscribe.